Recording should be going. Okay, welcome back, guys, from our little 2 week hiatus there. This is, I believe, session 16 of the Arcadia group. My only point of order is I do have family in town. They have promised to be quiet, but I cannot stop it if they rile up the dog. So I will apologize if any background noise filters in. The only other thing that I wanted to begin to float past you guys was, for those unaware, I opened up a guest character slot in the Ophion group. And I'm thinking, and I really haven't made my mind quite yet, that I might want to do something similar to this group. But we can talk about more about that later on. But, it is something I wanted to float out as an idea kind of early so people can think about it. But without any further ado, Captain, if you're ready with your log, let's start with that.
Okay, Captain's log, stardate 48825.8. After weeks of effort in converting our shuttlecraft into a special variant capable of exploring the Opteran's native subspace manifold, the Roddenberry is nearly complete. Though Utopia Polynesia could probably have built it in half the time, my crew was limited by those raw materials the Arcadia had on hand and those at the outpost on Zoetis Prime. A portion of the crew working on the project have nonetheless put their best forth effort, and I think their commendations will flow. Once the Roddenberry passes final inspections, Commander Crowley has assembled a team that will meet Jeffrey and his Opteran pals in the subspace manifold, which they will be able to stay in for up to 3 days before the structural integrity will be an issue. Hopefully the away team will come back with a cornucopia of data for our science department, even if they're only allowed to stay for a short amount of time. As I wait for Maddox to tell me it's time for the Roddenberry's maiden voyage, I must admit that I'm currently envious of the opportunity that has been afforded to this away team. Nevertheless, I wish them the best of luck.
Okay. So, as you probably can gather by the star date, even though star dates are completely bullshit, we have basically fast forwarded in time about 3 to 4 weeks. And really, what I want to do is offer the opportunity to anyone before we start with the session material proper. Any specific scenes, any specific bits of RP, anything you would have wanted to accomplish during that 4 week time period that you think is relevant enough to bring up. And it's okay if you don't have anything.
Alright.
I think that Crowley had probably been mostly off-duty helping with any designs he could with Matic, and just shuffling around crew personnel towards making sure the ship is ship-shape, as it were.
Okay.
Also wanted to check out any information that Jeffrey could supply him about the space they're going to, so he could assemble a proper away team.
Okay. I actually do have notes for that. So what Jeffrey has described to you, or at least reading between the lines what you have gathered, is that the subspace manifold is similar in, I guess the word design would apply here, similar in design to that of a great ocean. You would be quote-unquote underwater within the subspace manifold.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, I probably would have sent off a couple of design requests or schematics to the shipyards. I can't say their name now.
Utopia Polynesia?
Yes, thank you.
Gotcha.
And also requested some stuff to just to go back and forth. And I know I was gonna wait for it on the station, but I'd probably put a request to have it shipped over to the outpost we're at currently, my personal effects.
Okay.
So since we have a few weeks, I imagine that should show up at any time.
I'll say it'll probably get here when you guys come back.
All right.
All right.
And yeah.
Cool. There is one other small detail, if no one has anything else.
One more thing, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I visit Alan.
Okay. Oh, you do the thing with Alon that we discussed in private.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. I will let you decide whether or not you bring that up with the rest of the crew at your convenience. I will not spoil it for them.
Yeah.
All right. So the one small thing I forgot to put in the captain's log was while part of the crew was working on the Roddenberry, another portion of the crew was working on retrofitting a science lab. And I'm just going to briefly put you on the map so you can see what you're working with here. But basically, Andromeda, Ensign Terra, and Ensign Delix. Is it Delix? Delix?
Delux.
Delix. Okay. The three of them have gotten together and converted one of the science labs into a permanent bio bay. And basically, this science lab has been dedicated towards medical research, to biological sampling, basically everything that is within Andromeda's purview, her expertise, as it were. It's one of those things where, you know how Hylong has astrophysics and astronavigation? This would be Andromeda's quote-unquote personal lab. Because I figure her being cooped up in sickbay the entire time was... She might have gotten bored. So I gave her a whole new lab to play with.
Question.
Yes.
This is a bioengineering lab.
Correct.
This lab would be dealing with experimental technology as well, potentially.
More or less, yes.
Carruthers is happy.
All right. I will add Carruthers to... Where is he? There he is. I will add him to the bay. We'll put Carruthers over here.
Matic will probably have had a hand in working on this whenever he wasn't working on the shuttle.
Okay.
Because experimental technology is kind of his thing at this point.
The captain will have dusted off whatever instructional video we have on how not to create Khan Noonien Singh and distribute it to anyone working in or on this lab.
Fair point. Fair point.
Does Matic also get a copy of the Temporal Prime Directive?
I forgot. But the video about Khan is one of those really cheesy 80s. Like, have you seen the video of like how to pour drinks at Wendy's?
Oh, God. I'm just old enough that I know that reference. Dear
Oh
God.
my god.
Alright.
So that's a thing. I'm glad this is a thing. But yeah, that's really the only little surprise I had for you besides the whole Roddenberry thing.
This
So-
is pretty graphic.
Yeah, it's very nice graph. I really like what Falk did with all the Nova refit layouts. They're very pristine and very nice looking. But yeah, unless anyone wants to chat with an NPC or visit a certain location on the ship, let's fast forward a little bit because I do want to get you guys into the manifold. And we're going to go ahead and move to the shuttle bay. Oh, go ahead.
I can't remember. Is Reeves still on the ship, or did he go to the Belafonte?
He is still on the ship. He is currently working in the sciences instead of engineering.
Oh, I thought he had accepted that job on the Bellerophon. Or
I will have to double check. My notes say he's still on the ship.
Because he accepted the job. The next time we rendezvoused with the Bellafront, because we were going to we were going somewhere, and it was they had just left and we were leaving, and you were able to ask them. So the
Right.
next time we got together with the Bellafront, he was going to transfer over.
That makes sense. Okay.
I'll believe that. I will trust player memory over my notes. So yeah, I guess Reeve isn't on the ship anymore. But yeah, as you can see, I have cannibalized the TNG tile set, and I did do a little bit of playing with the graphic. The Venture class you see sitting there, it is capable of getting in and out. You just have to move that stupid little B. But yeah,
I was gonna ask.
I am curious. I more or less guessed who you would want to be present for the christening, but was there any other NPC you wanted to be there in particular?
I'd say Carruthers would probably show up just to, if we were going to do the flight test right after the christening, Carruthers would want to be there.
Okay.
Did Hailong have a say, or like wasn't she part of the effort to build this thing?
She would have worked on the sensors for the Roddenberry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Any like department heads that worked on this thing should definitely be here.
Okay, well we'll shrink down Hailong's token.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, so Hailong's there. Where's Crothers? There's Crothers. Crothers, where can I put Crothers? We'll put him up here. Crothers is
Right
up
behind Crowley works.
I think Ensign Delix would be there as well.
Okay, we'll put Delix up here as well. We'll put Hailong up here. Why not? That way the engineers and shuttle bay technician have prime in front and center. But yeah, Matic, you have literally just finished the last pre-flight checks of the Roddenberry. As we discussed, the replicators are no longer able to create Klingon coffee. So that is literally the last thing you had to do before this new shuttle type is ready to fly.
All right. Kind of look around the room. I'll shake Alon and Gadget's hand and look towards the captain and commander and say, "Well, she's ready. You give the word, and we'll see how long our new toy can last us out here."
This whole time, my hands have been behind my back, and I just put a bottle of champagne into Maddox's hands, and I say, "If you want, you can do the honors."
Maddox kind of looks at the champagne, and he kind of leads it to the captain, and like just between them, he whispers, "Am I supposed to drink it, or am I supposed to smash it on the ship?"
Little column A, little column B.
All right. Get us some glasses real quick.
All right, she runs over to a replicator and comes back with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 10 glasses, 11 glasses.
Yeah.
Maddox pours the usual helping of champagne into everyone's glass. He raises his glass up above and says, "To exploring new worlds, to first contact, and to making some of the best experiments work." And then takes a drink, takes the bottle and smashes it on the ship.
Nice. Makes a very satisfying crash as the glass shatters, and the ship is christened, and at least all the NPCs begin clapping wholeheartedly.
Woo.
Crowley is out of uniform in a good degree.
Mm-hmm.
He is in a two-tone red flight suit.
Okay.
And he's just... It's his hands are covered, everything's covered. It basically has to do is, if he needs to, he can put a helmet on and seal it up. And he's like, he looks too mad, like, well, you ready?
Yeah, my EVA suit's packed up inside already.
All right.
Captain, with your permission?
Proceed. I'll be on the. I'll head back to the bridge. Chief Gaddett, is she go? So, question: is she going into the shuttlecraft with y'all, or is she just gonna work the shuttle bay operating room?
Out of character, I had planned for her to remain on the ship to handle some back and forth with the worker bees and the station. But if you want to take her along on the away mission, that's up to you guys.
No, I think it makes sense for her job to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the only people that we really talked about going were myself, Crowley, and Felix, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're the only three that we really talked about. I mean, if somebody wants to take somebody, or if somebody wants to go, or
yeah, I would like to say I would appreciate it if everyone took at least a supporting character. Simply because I don't want someone sitting there for almost the entire session with no character to play. So right now I have Crowley, Matic, and Delix on the next page. Crowley...
Rochelle?
Oh, go ahead.
Rochelle was for the away mission, and Lost was for the away mission as well.
Okay, Rochaux's there.
Yeah, if we're going on the away mission, then Los should also be on the test flight, I guess. That way he can be familiar with the craft.
Okay.
He's also a decent medic in an emergency situation.
Always good to have around.
So are we just doing the test flight right now, and then we're going to go on the away mission later, or are we putting the two together?
It's up to you.
Let's separate them just briefly, because I always like to talk to Jeffrey.
Okay. All right. For the test flight, I will put you guys on this map. And of course, you can move yourselves around to where you would want to be on the ship. So, yeah, those of you that are part of the test flight team and the away mission team, filter on in to the interior of the Roddenberry. And as this happens, Gaddett goes to work the... You know what, let me turn off the grid. That way it's easier for you to move around. There you go. No more grid. Should be easier. As you all get prepared and get everything ready, Gaddett starts the force field up for the shuttle bay, and the door begins to rise, revealing both the planet of Zoetis Prime and the darkness and twinkling stars of space.
Alright. Crowley will get into the cockpit, get a feel for the controls, load up his personal profile that he's made on the holodeck for this.
Mm-hmm.
So all the settings change to his preference. And he starts up powering the engines, bringing on all the systems in typical order that are typically for takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
And he radios up to Gaddett. Permission to take off?
You are cleared for go, Roddenberry.
Thank you. And I ignore traditional Starfleet regulations for this, and I book it on out of the shuttle bay.
Okay, I'm going to have you roll for that. Why don't we do...
We explode.
Yes, and you explode, the mission's over, the Arcadia is dead.
We'll make new characters. We'll have a new ship.
Yes, the new ship will be a Saber class. Okay, if you want to give me a control plus con, Crowley, I'm going to set the difficulty here to 2.
Alright, and I have a focus. That applies to this.
Yeah, there you go.
Do we need someone to roll for the shuttle?
For this, I don't think the shuttle would assist.
It's, in its own destruction?
Matic put in an AI, and so
Oh, that would be terrible if you had a Moriarty controlling the little shuttle. That would be a thing.
Well, if I speak to our GM's strengths, I think we should have more of like a Connery.
Oh dear. Okay, so you got 2 successes, is what you needed. So yeah, Crowley, you take the Roddenberry out of the bay a little bit faster than Gaddett would probably like, but yeah, you make it out into open space with no problem. The controls seem to be very responsive. You aren't leaking atmosphere. Those of you at your stations, the sensors are reading green, the engine output's reading green. Los, you at Tactical are able to tell that while weapons aren't online, they are available. And Delix, you're at the moment, I don't think there's too much that would show up at your station that would be different from her shows.
Okay.
But your console works just as well as his.
All right. Cool.
Let's try some maneuvers.
Okay, what sort of maneuvers are you interested in doing?
I don't want to hit the main ship or damage this one. So I'm gonna try and you know what? I'm gonna be risky. I'm gonna be risky for this. This is
Oh
interesting.
no.
This is a waking up something in Crowley that he hasn't had since the academy. I'm gonna skim the shuttle against the Arcadia. Not like touching it, but like just our navigational shields to flicker.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not
See
gonna
how
have
precise I can get the controls.
I'm not gonna have you roll for it. Well, no, I take that back because I do have you roll for something similar in the future. Go ahead and roll me a control plus con again. The difficulty will again be a 2, but this time the ship will assist. And the ship will assist with sensors plus con.
Alright.
So for whoever wants to roll for the Roddenberry.
I'll roll for the Roddenberry, and you said it was what again?
Sensors plus con.
Sensors plus.
And just as we're about to leave the saucer front of the ship, I want to test the inertial dampers and dead stop.
Okay.
See how that takes the shock.
Sensors plus con.
All right, so you guys have a momentum. Good start to the day.
Aha.
So, yeah, in a manner which certain people on the command staff might not approve of, Crowley skims the Arcadia's hull. I'd say the clearance is probably all of 5 meters. That's how precise he's able to get. And right as you are about to pass the saucer separation, you slam on the brakes. And sure enough, when you do so, the inertial dampeners of the shuttle are able to keep up with the strain. And the most that you all feel in the shuttle is a very brief feeling of deceleration. But it doesn't lurch you forward, doesn't kick you out of your seat. It seems that you're perfectly fine.
I just turn back and look at everyone with good ship, Maddox.
That's the best you can do, Crowley? I expected more out of you.
Oh no.
D-Leg, Rousseau, where's the nearest asteroid field?
Fly between rocks that are very, very far apart from one another?
You might test the weapon zone on them.
I'm sure we have some leftover scrap we could just shove out of an airlock from the Arcadia.
That works.
Or wouldn't a ship have a way to create targets per se?
I would assume that the Arcadia would have the functionality if the Roddenberry didn't.
I'd say torpedo casings.
Yeah,
haul
torpedo
it out.
casings.
Simulation, right?
Yeah. There's many different things that you could use as a target.
Okay.
So yeah.
So what's it going to be? Some rocks? Torpedo casings? What are we going to shoot at?
I'm sure we'll bring up the nearest kind of suitable asteroid belt if there's one nearby, and
Okay.
put that on screen.
It's not so much a belt as it is just kind of an assemblage of rocks out in space. Like, it doesn't go all the way around the sun. It's like maybe an eighth of an arc around the sun. Slightly unusual, but there's enough rocks there for you to go have your fun.
My fingers are just like right on the button for arm phasers. I'm just okay. All right. Yeah.
Commander Crowley to Captain.
Read you loud and clear.
We're going to take the shuttle on a little weapons train test. Enjoy the show.
Will do.
And
Matic will want to scan the area, just that way we'll make sure no one's hiding in the asteroid field.
Okay, well, that would be a reason plus science, assisted by the Roddenberry sensors plus science, and the difficulty here would be a 1.
I guess I'll just roll for the ship again. Sensors plus science, you said?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Does the wait. Look.
I don't think the Roddenberry has any focuses.
Oh,
If
so that
I-
was something that I noticed. Anytime you guys roll for a ship, the ship always has an applicable focus.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so sensors plus science. Yes.
Okay, so Maddox still passes. Well, a 0. Thought I gave the Roddenberry a 1. I'll look at that in a moment. So yeah, you are in fact able to ensure that there are no vessels sneaking up on you. There are the nearest Cavian ship, because obviously they are in the area. The nearest Cavian ship is across the system from you, and they are currently proceeding towards Zoetis Primate Impulse. But this is an expected ship. It's not like this has suddenly shown up and you're like, what's going on? This is something you would have expected.
All right.
I lay in a course for the field, and I'm using the computer to guide me,
Okay.
since it's all manual. And I look back to Lost, I was like, maintain observation on the weapon systems, see if anything is off with them when we start firing. The earliest sign of any issues, kill the weapons.
Aye.
Delix, I want you to actually test the sensors internally. Keep a medical scan on all of us. See how our health is, if anything is going on. Maybe the sensors are saying one of us is Bolian or Klingon.
Aye.
Blah.
Yes, Matic is a secret Klingon this entire time.
Is there any what kind of role would that be if I do that?
I think we treated very similarly to this last roll. It would probably be another reason plus science or reason plus medicine.
Okay.
And the ship would assist with sensors plus medicine.
Okay. And what would the difficulty be?
I'm gonna make it just a 0. Let's get you guys
Okay.
some momentum.
He also told me to inspect our weapons as well.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to check is there anything on the coolant systems for our phasers that would, upon firing, blow them up, like on the Arcadia the first time we used them?
I would say everything you're seeing on your readout indicates that you're not going to have a blowout.
Okay.
And I'm assuming I wouldn't have a focus, so my focuses for Delix are cybernetics, spatial phenomena, and xenobiology.
Yeah, no focus there.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, well, you guys get a momentum, at least.
Cool.
Do I need to make a roll for my check to actually look for all the weapons stuff?
Nah, I'm going to give it to you free.
Okay.
So yeah, everything checks out. The medical sensors seem to check out. The weapons reading green, and you guys fly up right next to this floating pile of rock out in space. And it's up to you guys what you do with it.
All right.
Engine lows. Lock on pulse phasers. Prepare to fire.
Aiming. All right, so that's control security.
Control security, and the Roddenberry will assist with weapons plus security. And since you are using an energy weapon, the difficulty is a 2.
All right. Since this is a new appearance of Los, I don't remember how many focuses I'm allowed to add, but I will be adding Starship Tactical.
I think you get to add 1. I'll double check, but
All right.
I'm fairly confident you get to add at least 1.
Okay, but I'll do my control security.
Let's see, and then weapons plus.
Yeah, it is indeed 1 extra focus.
Okay.
All right. I lost my window. Where's my window? There we go. So yeah, the Roddenberry doesn't help you on this task, but you do get a momentum for firing. Or no, I made the difficulty 2. Okay. So here's what happens. Los, you go to fire. I mean, you lock on. You do everything you should do when the weapons fire. And when you press the big shiny red button, nothing happens.
Ensign.
There seems to be an issue here. So, one moment. I'm gonna just check the engineering stuff again.
Okay. I'd like you to roll me, and of course, Matic. I think you would have heard this and also would be doing something similar. I'll let you decide between the two of you who wants to assist whom. But the main task for this is going to be insight plus engineering. And I'm going to make the difficulty here a 3.
All right. Well, I have a grand 11 on this one.
So I guess I'll lead and you assist.
Yeah, sounds good.
Prototype engineering, applicable focus,
Considering this
Or
entire ship
phaser-based
is one
weaponry.
big prototype, oh yeah.
or
Uh,
phaser-based weaponry, whichever one would be more.
Either works.
Would my Starship Tactical come into play here?
I'd allow it, sure.
Okay.
We only have 1 momentum, right?
We have 2.
Yeah, you've got 2.
Oh, we have 2. Yeah, seeing that, I'm going to spend 1 of those momentum.
Okay.
3. Oh. Are we determining the source of a technical problem with the ship?
Your talent would apply here, yes.
All right. So I get another D20.
That means we're gonna have to spend both of our momentum.
No, I get 1 from a talent.
Right, but the buying though it'll cost 2 because it's the second one we're getting.
No. His talent gives him a free 1 if he's determining a technical problem with his ship. It's an engineering only talent.
Oh, okay.
Basically, every chief engineer ever in this game should always take technical expertise. It's I know my ship.
Yeah, I know my ship, and then in the nick of time, like that's a fucking amazing talent also.
Yeah, they are almost crucial talents for any engineer. Anyways,
Can I technically say that I'm being assisted by the ship's computers trying to figure out what's going on?
nah, I can't give you that much assistance.
I mean, I tried.
Hey.
There you go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
So you guys have 3 momentum. So no, that's 4 momentum total. Nice.
Hey.
So yeah, Matic, you have a hunch. You're like, I think I might know the problem. And sure enough, you immediately focus internal sensors to the port EPS relay. And sure enough, the relay is faulty. It's through no fault of your own. EPS conduits go bad all the time. It just seems that you happen to accidentally or otherwise, it's kind of like a light bulb. Sometimes when you first turn on a light bulb, it just doesn't work. It's something very similar in this case. Fixing it is something you could do in the ship itself. Or you could simply just shunt all weapon power through the other side of the ship. Of course, you'd only have one cannon that way, but, you have a lot of options here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shut down the weapons on the port side, and then I'll just look at Los and say, you have...
Uh-oh, he's dying on us.
Medical scan on Maddox right now.
My bad.
That's okay.
Only 2 of his lungs are compromised.
Yeah.
He's a Klingon, so he has 4. He's a good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ensign, you have starboard cannon. Go ahead and test it, and then I'll need to make a note to replace the EPS conduit later.
Aye, sir.
All right, so this time you're going to fire again. Instead of increasing the difficulty, I'm just going to reduce the damage you would do.
Okay.
So again, it would be another control plus security from Los, and another weapons plus security for the ship. Difficulty is still a 2.
Should we spend momentum here?
If you want to.
Nah.
Yeah, 4.
Are we that angry at a rock?
I'm very angry. Okay. It's only a matter of personal pride for loss, and it's not working out.
You rolled science, but the 18 you rolled isn't going to help you.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, maybe the ship will get you that extra success you need.
Better.
Someone is rolling for the ship, right?
Oh, sorry. I got it. I've had not much sleep the past few days, so...
Nah, it's okay. Weapons plus security for the ship.
Weapons plus security. Okay. Applicable focus, yep.
All right, so yeah, you go to fire and nothing happens again.
Running diagnostic again.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna give this to you free. Matic, you realize that it's actually not the port side EPS conduit that's the problem. It is the main interface between the engine and the weapon systems. So it's a little bit more of a complicated fix. It would probably take you about 3 hours to do back on the Arcadia. If you wanted to attempt to do it in space, it would maybe take you about 2 days. So obviously the Arcadia would be the better choice.
Yeah,
I turn and look at Ensign. I was like, did you just break this new ship?
I don't even know how I would have done that.
I'm going to try this next test. Locking on torpedoes.
Okay.
Manual control to weapons to helm. I'm going to fire.
So I'm trying to remember if I ruled on this or not. I don't think the Roddenberry has torpedoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not
the-
listed on the sheet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Roddenberry is a shuttlecraft and thus does not get access to torpedoes because of its size.
Not even the micro torpedoes that runabouts have?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say no in this particular instance, but in the future, remind me, and I might say yes then. But in this instance, I'm gonna say no.
They haven't been turned on yet.
Yeah.
Like, oh. So those are inoperable too. Okay.
Well, we'll get them Tuesday.
Lost, you're not allowed to touch the weapon system until they deem that your gremlins are gone.
What's a gremlin, sir?
It's a mystical creature that breaks technology.
Are you sure it's not a really good Christmas movie?
I have seen that. My adoptive family showed me that movie. That gave me nightmares.
Oh,
It was a terrifying movie. Why would you show that to children? Well,
you
if we
see,
can't blow up
humans
this
have
rock...
a history of not liking children very much, and therefore, terrible films for them.
No, I mean, humans, we like our own children. Others people's children? No.
Beautiful.
I'm sad we can't blow up this rock.
You mind if I take a swing at it, sir?
Are the weapons even operable right now, Matic?
Are weapons operable, GM?
No, but you've got a tractor beam.
Matt kind of looks up and goes, we can smash one rock into another rock.
Risho, can you please kindly lock a tractor beam onto this rock and we will swing it into another rock?
Yes, Commander.
All right, so I actually found the rules for this after how long we've been playing. So,
Tractor beam.
yeah, the tractor beam is control plus security from Rochelle, and the ship will assist with structure plus security, and the difficulty is going to be a 2.
Are we applying shipboard tactical systems to this one?
Yeah, I would say this is a tactical application of the tractor beam, so yeah.
So, could I assist by spinning the ship around and flinging this rock towards another one?
I'm going to say no because the ship is already assisting.
Okay.
Thing is, we're-
Can Matic assist by maneuvering power through conduits? That way it doesn't break anything else?
These are all good ideas. Let me put it this way. You can either have the ship assist, or one of you can assist instead of the ship. Like you can't have like 3 people doing the same role, because it just gets... I don't want to say too easy, but that is kind of what happens.
Every
What's
assist
the,
beyond the first one does increase the complication range.
This is also true. So let me think. You know what? I'll be nice. I will say one of you can assist, and I'll still give you the ship. But obviously, the complication range will go 19 to 20.
Attic?
And I'm gonna toss a momentum in there as well, because we're very angry at this rock now.
Yeah. Matic, I'll let you do the assist.
Alright. What's the roll?
For you, Matic, I would do a control plus engineering. The ship is still structures plus security, and Risho is control plus security.
Oh.
All right, off to a good start. Off to a very good start.
That's a good start.
These are all good things. And the Roddenberry doesn't help you. So, with difficulty 2, I believe you guys are at 5 momentum now. So yeah, Risho, you lock on to an asteroid, and as Matic gives you an additional power, you're able to do as you wish with this rock. Where are you flinging it? Are you dragging it along? What's the play here?
I think I'll make a figure 8 in the open space and then fling it at another rock, yeah.
Okay. For shits and giggles, roll me 2 challenge die.
Okay.
We get caught between the rocks.
Alright, you got it too. That's all you needed. So the rock goes soaring through space, and it's at such a speed that you don't have to wait minutes for impact, but only like 30 seconds. And it's kind of like everyone who watched the boosters landed of the recent SpaceX launch. Everybody's like, is it going to hit? Is it going to hit? And then the rock just careens into it, and there's this nice explosion. So, good job.
Phasers are for easy mode.
You successfully are able to use your tractor beam. Well done.
Yeah.
Nice tractor beam, Maddox.
Good
job,
work,
Risho.
everyone.
Ensign Los is fervently filing a flight report to show that this is not his fault.
After we all kind of watch the explosion, hey, Commander, on the return trip, you want to test out the QEC?
Yes. Yes, we can have Get attempt this. Or Monday. I'm sure Monday would like this.
Probably more Monday.
But let's just do one last test on the warp engine.
Okay. So you want to jump to warp then?
Just for like a split second. The Picard maneuver.
The Picard, that's always a good maneuver. I'm
I mean,
just
other
gonna-
than all the stresses it causes for the ship, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even going to make this a task. I'll just say you are very briefly for that 1 second that is required for such a maneuver. You give a warp burst, and the ship there's like a buildup of static electricity in the bridge of the Roddenberry, or at least the cockpit section. But it's very momentary, and it doesn't really affect anything. It's just there's a heightened sense of static electricity in the air. But yeah, you arrive unscathed otherwise after you jump out of warp.
Alright. I will get out of the flight chair and Commander Crowley to Monday.
Monday here, sir.
Initiate QEC and bring the ship aboard.
Aye. So back on the bridge, Tahan, you notice Monday switching his console over, and his screen changes from controlling the Arcadia to controlling the Roddenberry. You guys have 5 momentum. I'm not gonna tempt fate. Monday is able to remotely pilot the Roddenberry back to the Nova's shuttle, or to the Arcadia's shuttle bay. Obviously, he doesn't do it as fast as Crowley did. He follows directives as set by Starfleet for quote-unquote proper procedure. But yeah, you guys basically are returned to the shuttle bay. So I will momentarily put you back on this map.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as we land and we get out, Maddox's gonna call Crowley. Not Crowley. Alon.
Mm-hmm.
So Maddox to Alon.
Alon here, sir.
The entanglement that controls the weapons from the engines on the shuttle.
Right.
It stopped working.
Okay. I'll get a team to work with Gadded on that immediately.
All right, and then just check the ship for anything else. See if there's any microfractures. See if there's anything that got overlooked.
We'll do a very thorough job, sir.
Fully expect that you do.
Matic,
Yes, Commander.
how long will the repair on the weapons take?
Weapons repair, if it's just the entanglement, 3-4 hours maybe. It won't take much.
I got faith in you. I think you can get it done too. And I'll head on out.
All right. So obviously, again, there's a window for you guys to RP for 2 hours or 3 hours. But I did want to actually see how well Matic and his team, basically how fast they can complete an extended task. So this extended task is going to be very simple. The work track is only going to be 10. The magnitude will only be a 2. And the base difficulty will be a 2. So, Matic, if you'd like to roll me we'll call this a control plus engineering. And we will just kind of see how fast you're able to do this. And remember, since you are chief engineer, you do have an advantage. But let's see. So no successes. Yeah, that's a 19 and an 18. Can't help you there.
Yeah.
So we'll say 1 hour passes, and you're having a hard time getting at the bit of conduit in question. Not simply because it's put in an awkward position, but it's done in such a way that in order to access it properly, you have to basically remove part of the hull. Obviously, you can do repairs to it on the inside of the ship, but to really get at what you're after, you've got to remove part of the hull. And that obviously takes time. So that takes an hour. Let's do another control plus engineering. Maybe we'll get some successes here.
It's the remote piloting on the ship. Quantum entanglement communication.
Mm-hmm.
He asked that in Discord chat. Captain did.
Ah.
And that was, yeah. I'm going to spin. We have what? 5 momentum.
5 momentum. Well, 4 momentum. Let's do a scene change for real, because I'm bad at that. So let's say you have 4 momentum.
Okay. So I'll spend 1 momentum.
Okay.
And then I have my focus. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
It's just not Maddox's day. Okay. So another hour passes. And the complication here is going to be that in confirming the problem and in beginning to replace the part, you do indeed realize that the conduit in question is not only faulty, but that the micro warp jump that you guys did has caused some fracturing in the impulse casing towards the back of the ship. So it'll tack on at least 1 hour more.
I'm just gonna blame Loss on that one.
Is this the Star Trek equivalent of texting Jeffrey that we're on our way, but we're still in the shower?
Yeah.
Be there soon.
Poor Jeffrey. Alright, let's do 2 more rolls, and then we'll just see where we're at. So give me one more roll, Matic.
I'm gonna go ahead and spin my point of determination.
Oh, okay.
Understand technology better than people.
That would apply here.
And then I guess I'll spend another momentum. Focus, yes.
So
okay.
You get that. You get 3 momentum back. So I think you're actually full now. Yeah, you're at 6 momentum if I count correctly. Since this is an extended task, go ahead and roll me 2 plus 4, so 6 challenge die. And the magic number here is 5. 5 or more. Hey, would you look
1,
at that?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 work done.
Okay, very nice. You know what? I'm just gonna make the work track an 8 so we can speed this along. So, Matic, you grit your teeth, shake your head, and channeling the engineering gods, whatever they might be, you not only finish up replacing the conduit, triple checking to make sure it works, and sealing up the microfractures that occurred because of the micro warp jump. You also, and this is mostly for shits and giggles, but I find it as a fun bit of flavor, you have the option of tweaking the Roddenberry's phaser fire, what color it is.
Ooh.
I vote for
wanna
black
make
because you
it-
can't see it in space.
Wait, what?
I don't think you can make it a black one. I don't know if that's even possible.
Damn.
We can try, damn it.
Blacklight.
Ooh. That'll look trippy.
I'm gonna go with like
Plaid.
no. Well,
That'd be a good one.
every single time we shoot it, someone's going ludicrous speed. I'm gonna make it like an Endorian blue.
Very nice. Very nice. I like blue myself. Okay, noted. So yeah, I'm gonna say with that very big success on the third roll, that the total elapsed time for repairs is going to be 3 hours. So that's 3 hours for the rest of you to do anything you might wish before heading out again.
Carruthers is going to approach Andromeda again.
Oh god. Okay.
Here we go.
This will be good.
Best RP moments.
Where's
Attic has told Andromeda to keep all open comms whenever Carruthers is talking to her.
Oh, he's a nice guy. He's just odd.
He's just misunderstood.
Actually, we have the new biolab, so let's do it there. All right, so yeah, Carruthers, you've been working in the new biolab with Andromeda, and currently she's looking over some reports. And when you approach, she just kind of looks up at you, but doesn't say anything. She just kind of waits for you to speak.
He stands there awkwardly for a few moments, just looking at her and just waiting.
Can I help you?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to apologize. Our first real interaction wasn't how I hoped it to have gone. I'm not. How do I want to say this? I am different and strange. I understand that. I'm not what some people would consider lacking of confidence, though. I know what I want to say. It's just not the best way to say it. I still would like to examine your connection between yourself and your suit. If you're still interested in doing that, I have strictly just a scientific point of view. I'm wanting to make life, and not in a traditional sense. If you understand that.
She's gonna choose not to comment on that.
You hear Delix very audibly stifle a laugh.
Tara does not. Tara just almost has to stop what she's doing and doubles over in laughter.
Let me show you what I've started so far. Please.
So, Andromeda just very awkwardly reaches for a pad to her left, picks it up. Her fingerprints glow that purple glow, which indicates she's interfacing with the pad. And she hands the pad to Carruthers and says, "If you can get through this, maybe we can talk more." But I believe the human expression is phrasing?
No, I have actually developed a partial and rudimentary artificial brain. I wish to show you.
I mean, that's I do organic stuff more than I do, say. Well, perhaps I should ask: is this brain artificial in nature because it is machine, or is it a vat grown type thing?
It is a mixture. It is synthetic in nature and design. It has no cognitive functions so far. It's only able to do a few connections with different neurons at the moment. It's my attempt to bridge organic and inorganic together. It is my attempt to make new life that will last longer than us. It's my legacy. I am strange to the point that most have not sought anything from me. I am the last of my family, and I want to continue my legacy.
Well, that's now that I have some context, that's understandable. I mean, I of course probably might be the last of my species for all that I know. Here, I'll give you a little bit more. And the fingertips again glow, and she says, "There should be enough data on my suit and the connection I have with it to tide you over for at least a week. And of course, if you have any questions, I can try to answer them."
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. He'll just stand there for a second, then realize it's a pad, and then he's like, right.
And then Andromeda again doesn't say anything, but she looks back to her work, and it's pretty much, the conversation is over as far as she's concerned. But yeah, so that was a scene. That was a thing. Any other scenes people want to do while Matic is fixing the phasers?
I don't have anything personally.
Okay.
I don't need to make a scene out of it, but if I've had any holodeck time during this, I will have been practicing my use of the sword.
Okay. Well, I'd say as captain, you probably have control over holodeck time. It's your ship. So you could...
I guess I don't need the holodeck. We also have like a gym, don't we?
You do have a gym, yes.
Okay. I might just be working out.
Okay. Gotta get swole. Captain's gotta get those gains.
That's right.
Okay. Anyone else? Because if not, we will fast forward a little bit.
I have one.
Okay.
Captain kind of sparked this idea. If he's not going to be on the holodeck, I'll be on the holodeck.
Okay.
And I'm going to invite Hylong.
Okay. Did I give you guys a holodeck map? I did. Good job, past me. Alright, I gotta put you on this because it's not scrolling. Then... holodeck.
PTSD! What was that?
So, where's Crowley? There's Crowley.
I just had a premonition of things to come.
So, I already started the program before she showed up.
Okay.
But what she walks into, it's a village, kind of like medieval time village. People are screaming, there's fires going on, and there's a sound of battle happening.
Okay.
And as she gets further in, she sees a bunch of guards attacking what looks like this giant hulking, scale and skinless, dragon-like thing. Something similar to her, but a lot more terrifying. And it's just wailing the shit out of these guards, and it's just sending them flying. And she'll see that it's protecting the civilians, though.
Okay.
And as it continues, it's like it lifts one person up and slams on the ground, grabs another, and just crushes its head. And it notices her and stops, and she just hears from it, "Pause program."
So she raises an eyebrow and steps a little bit closer, and she says, "Well, I never pegged you for a dragon enthusiast, Commander."
They're creatures of flight. So, welcome to the program. It's one of my side programs that I got sent through one of my friends back on Earth. He is a professor of human history. He enjoys the 20th and 21st century, and he's been sending me tidbits of what he finds. And he has found something recently called Overlord. So he sent me a rough version of the program he's working on. It's entertaining. Apparently, you're outclassing everyone by a mile and a half, and the story is to try and stay undercover and use your abilities only when needed.
She tilts her head to the side a little bit questioningly, and she says, "So that involves being a dragon, apparently?"
Yeah. Apparently it's about a non-human looking character that's trying to figure out the new world he's in. still going through it. It's only has up to this part here, then it stops. So I've been playing it a couple of times. I just wanted to get your input on it. What do you think that could be changed?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm a fan of brass dragons, but I think what you've got here is nice. Looks good.
Well, if you'd like, I can call up the cooperative avatar. Join in.
She thinks about it for a moment and says, sure, I can spare an hour. Why not?
Sure.
And yeah, I imagine if I understand the program correctly, you and Hailong can play dragon for the next hour.
Yeah.
It's an interesting program. We might come back to that in the future now that I think about it. It's a nice little program. All right. Any last bits of call? Because I do want to get us into this manifold. Any last bits of RP before we skip ahead again? Okay. In that case, I will momentarily put you guys on this map again. So this is going to be the final confirmation check. Does everyone have the character they want to bring? Any last-minute personnel changes in the away mission? Or are these 5 the ones we're going with?
Do we want to take someone who's probably more sciencey?
Well, you have Delix. Delix is very sciencey himself. You do have Rasho. Even though Rasho runs ops, he's pretty sciencey himself. So you already have 2 kind of science, quote-unquote, experts. But, I mean, you could take another if you really wanted.
If we don't have any medical, we could take Carruthers as well. That'll be interesting because I'll be playing both of them then.
Nah, let's not have you talk to yourself.
I'll say Lois has a 3 in medicine and a focus in emergency medicine. He's a decent combat medic.
All right.
If we want to take another science person, maybe we could take like Ordy. I don't think we've done anything with him in a while.
Oh God, Ordy.
Memory.
Yeah, Ordy has not been anything. I feel bad for him.
Astrometrics, quantum mechanics, and astrophysics. That would be good for mission into subspace.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's take Ordy.
All right, yeah, sure. Ensign Ordy will tag along. Might help if I was not on the GM layer. There we go, and I gotta blow up his token.
He's really tiny.
Yeah, he's a leftover from when we were still using the big old layouts from the ship.
Gotcha.
I just imagine he is like really short and has like a kid's voice, but he's like a full-grown adult. Reporting for duty, sir. Like, oh.
Ensign Los has done one thing. He doesn't normally wear his earrings on duty, but he has shown up for this away mission with his Bajoran earring.
Okay. Always good to know.
I will say Crowley has been exceptionally happy. Just always having a smile, even a small smirk.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have to do with personnel, but like phasers. What phaser types do we have on the ship ready for like if something goes wrong?
You mean handheld phasers?
Right.
I would say you have a standard complement of, I think it's 4 Type 1 phasers. And obviously a med kit as well.
Okay. Oh, so we have the itty bitty phasers?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's 6 of us, would we want to grab more before we go? I would think.
I would assume each person could be outfitted with a phaser.
Well, I mean, yeah. So the game assumes that you all carry around your phaser and tricorder on away missions.
Okay.
So these
those
extra,
are just the ones in a locker, right?
Yeah, the extra 4 are the ones that are on just the locker in case you need more.
Right.
I would imagine that if we have weapons in the locker, they'd be like the big escalation Type 3 phasers.
We could do it that way, sure.
Just for the extras. Like we don't take them with us. I mean, I just assume that like there's just a locker on the shuttle with that.
Yeah. I'd say if you want to do Type 3s instead of Type 1s, you'd only be able to take 2 Type 3s.
It's better than 4, because if we ever get boarded or someone beams on, they don't have access to 4.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I'd say that just the regular ones are fine, because it's only 4. The ship has 4 main consoles, and then the rest for the 6, like, max crew load is 10. So that's if we're ever escorting, anyone that's not Starfleet. I don't want them outnumbering us and having access to weapons that could really hurt us.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's just do that then.
Alrighty. Alright, so I am going to save you all the trouble and the heartache. When you go to test the phasers again, they work fine. They're blue, but they work fine.
Why are these
Commander,
phasers sad?
Commander, I don't know why they're blue, but they seem to be working.
You have gremlins.
I did not look up that reference between the test and now.
During that 2-hour downtime, Rochelle watched Gremlins again.
Solid choice. Solid choice. Alright. So, to get us a little bit more on track here, you get final coordinates from Jeffrey, and Crowley, as you fly down into the atmosphere of Zoetis Prime and begin to approach the coordinates he gave you, you see that you are flying towards what's to be the entrance to a great cavern. And you would know, simply due to either the Opterans telling you, or you being here before, that this tunnel entrance is about spacious enough to accommodate the Roddenberry, and that the tunnel network itself descends deep into the planet's core. So I'm just going to have you do a very basic con roll here, and this will be a new scene, so -1 momentum. And really only the bad thing that can happen if you fail this roll is that you scratch some paint.
Right.
So as you navigate through these tunnels, I would like you to roll me a control plus con, and the ship will assist with sensors plus con.
Sensors plus con.
How much momentum are we at currently?
5.
Even with the scene change?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, we maxed out.
Well, now you're maxed out again with 3 extra momentum sitting around.
So
What do we do with the 3 momentum?
I want to do it. I want to do a little
barrel roll.
Oh yeah, I want to fly upside down in the cavern, so everyone's like, they know they're upside down. I'm like, this is good.
Oh!
Who didn't have their seatbelt on?
Making the shields flicker every now and then.
Oh, no, we don't get those till the end of Nemesis.
Oh dear.
Well, the internal gravity, you know you're upside down, but at the same time you're also standing upright on a deck plate.
Yeah, it's a little disorienting. Crowley, you have no issue piloting this thing through the cavern. You don't think even Monday could beat you. It's a very, very nice bit of flying. But after probably about 15 minutes of flying through these caverns, you do finally arrive at the aforementioned coordinates. And outside of the window at the front of the ship, all of you are able to see a swirling maelstrom of a spatial tear approximately 250 meters distant. Sensors aren't able to penetrate the other side, but you do see Opterans both coming and going from this rift. In particular, of interest to you, is Jeffrey. And we all know Jeffrey is the literally only Opteran with a Starfleet comm badge on his nose. And I'm just going to bring that up every time because it's freaking hilarious. But yeah, Jeffrey flies up in front of the window and he beckons for you all to follow him.
I will follow him slowly.
Okay. So he takes you into the rift. He obviously goes in first, and as you all transition through the rift, um, it's a harrowing experience for a single brief. I would call it maybe a nanosecond, but enough that you would have been able to perceive it. You taste the color purple, and you see these impossible objects. And there's a buck as the ship lurches violently, but the inertial dampers catch up very quickly. And again, you're not like thrown out of your seats or anything. And after all of this clears, you see that you are on the other side of the rift, and I can put you on this map.
Now, you can taste the color purple. It's next to Sunny D. The kid literally says, purple drink. That's...
All right, so
drink is good stuff.
it is. It really is. So to kind of describe,
Wait, purple drink or purple drank?
Drink.
Perp drank. No.
This is something I'm going to talk to the GM with later, but after going through the rift, Los is visibly shaken.
okay,
Matic won't pay attention to that because he wants to run a diagnostic on the ship, make sure subspace didn't screw with anything.
okay. So while all that's happening, I'll describe what you're seeing. So what you see out of your viewport and based on the sensors is best is probably what I would describe as kind of an ethereal ocean. Everything is cast in this sort of emerald hue from an omnipresent light source. You see all sorts of creatures, not just Opterans, quote-unquote, swimming through the quote-unquote water. There are what looks to be rocky formations and a seabed, which is further populated by life. And it's probably been all of 2 seconds in this place. And you've already recorded enough data to satisfy even Andromeda's curiosity for at least a week. So even the brief just sensor scan of the area is an amazing amount of data. Kind of similar to the Enterprise D's contact with the Cytherians, which is, just to remind you all, the one where the probe enhances Barclay's IQ to be astronomical, and then he takes him to the center of the universe, or to the galaxy, not the universe. The point I'm trying to get across is that there is going to be so much data, even just passively scanning, that scholars will take decades to go through it all. And yeah, Jeffrey just kind of quote unquote floats up next to you in the in the space, and over the comms he says, "Welcome to our little humble abode in subspace. I will remind you that the time limit is about 3 days of your time before you might begin to suffer structural integrity problems. But I of course can show you around, but otherwise you are free to explore as you wish."
Thank you, Jeffrey. This is definitely a lifetime worth of knowledge we can gain from here. It's once in a lifetime experience.
Does Jeffrey still have the thing on his nose on this side?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, so he looks the same here.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. Cool.
Jeffrey, are we able to launch a beacon? Just leave it here so we know where to come back to.
As long as you pick it up on the way out, yeah.
Should be able to do that. And, yeah, we'll just deploy a little beacon that just sits where we came out of so we know where to come back. And I look to the rest of the crew. It's like, well, Science Division, start scanning.
All right.
I'm sorry, Commander, what did you say?
Science Division, you're tactical.
Oh. I'm sorry, thank you.
Are you okay?
I'm just gonna go get a drink, and I'm gonna head over to the replicator.
Okay.
What do I sense from him?
I'm processing a lot just right now. I don't even know what it is. Just yet. But something happened to me going through the rift. This is not something that GM came up with, so I did message him on Discord.
I was to say, let me see.
I have an idea for something I wanted to do with Los.
Oh, okay.
I mean, how would I describe it? Because I haven't figured out what exactly happened to me, so I can't tell Crowley.
Let me ask this.
I could just tell him what it is, like out of character.
Yeah, I was to say, if you want to say what it is out of character, I can then give you some more flavor.
Okay. Los had an orb experience, basically, going through the rift.
Oh. Alright.
So the orb experience I have in mind, just off the top of my head, is I honestly forget the name of I think it was season 3 or season 4 of DS9 where the quote unquote other emissary came back through the wormhole.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you know the guy I'm talking about. It's a very similar type of experience for you. You have the sensation of going through this rift, and when you return, everything has changed. There's new ships, there's new aliens. It is almost like your journey has brought you to an entirely new place. And the only real sound I'll say that you will hear is something very reminiscent to Q, but obviously they're the prophets instead. And the prophet narration says, soon. Just soon. And then that's the end of your experience.
Alright. I just get some water at the replicator. And I don't even really touch it. I just the act of getting the water is something I think will calm me down. And after a second, I'll realize I'm supposed to drink it, and then I'll head back to my station.
Okay. All right. Science team. There's a lot here for you to scan. Would you like to start with anything in particular?
I'm going to assume we would have a probe specifically modified for scanning this. And we'll start off with launching that.
I'll say you've got 2 probes.
Okay. And, obviously, we'll pick that up on our way out, but just to collect as much data as we can with that. Okay. And then, do the active scanning with the ship sensors as well.
Okay. I'll give you two things that you'll get from this, because again, you're at 6 momentum. So the first thing that your sensors and probes are picking up is that on what is passing for a sea floor is this sort of like subspace geyser of raw tetrions. Visually, if you were to either change the view screen or physically, take the Roddenberry to the location, the geyser looks very similar to a thermal vent within the Earth's oceans, if you're familiar with those look like. There's all sorts of these naturally occurring solanogen crystals surrounding the flow of tetrions. And there's also these kind of like beach ball sized orbs of all colors that seem to be bioluminescent. And that's the first thing you see. The second thing that your sensors pick up is that you are getting something that looks to be the size of a whale, like a humpback whale. And there's 2 of them, and they seem to be swimming in your direction.
Commander, we seem to have some visitors on approach.
Alright. Let's turn around and meet them.
Okay. So, just out of curiosity, would you have let Jeffrey go about his own devices, or would you have asked for him to stick around?
I thought he was going to let us just roam around, so I figured he's nearby, but he's not directly with us.
Okay.
We can hail him because he has a comm badge.
Right. All right. So as the whale-like creatures the whale-sized creatures begin to get closer and closer, Jeffrey communicates to you all, and he says, "I don't think the name translates properly, but they are called, and I'm just going to put this in chat, and we can butcher it to our heart's content."
Yes.
So that is the name that will come through the translator.
I'm going to call them Jimmies.
Quacklix? Quacklix.
Clocklix?
They're Jimmies.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Clakia.
Plekix. Are
Does
they...
Jeffrey hear us trying to butcher this name right now?
Oh yeah, he's having a blast. He doesn't bother to correct you, but you do get the sound of what you are guessing is Opteran laughing.
Yes.
And he says, "I don't think they won't mind. I don't think they'll mind if you don't get their name right. They're highly intelligent creatures. They are kind of the old guard of the manifold. They've been around as long as anyone can remember, and they are, I guess you would call them in your language, sages."
Before you go, Jeffrey,
Yes.
is there anything we should be worried about? Any hostiles?
Not that I'm personally aware of, but you might want to ask our, if you were so inclined, you could ask our approaching friends. I will say though, if you wanted to get their attention, the easiest way that I know of getting a conversation with them is to provide them with a treat, and that treat happens to be, and he points with one of his claws. And you see that he's pointing at one of the bioluminescent orbs surrounding the subspace geyser.
Do we just fling it at them?
Well, I mean, I would maybe hold it out to him with a tractor beam, I think is the technology you use.
Yes.
Or maybe use an Evo suit and just kind of float in space that way.
I don't want to get mixed up with the treat. We'll use a tractor beam.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys have fun here. Of course, if you ever need my help, just a hail away.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah. And Jeffrey will, quote unquote, swim off.
Ensign Lois,
Yes.
start monitoring and tracking all life forms. Anything that's approaching us, I want you to basically have an early warning detection. Anything that looks like it's about to ram us, definitely raise shields.
Aye, sir. And you will empathetically know that having been given a task, I feel a lot more at ease.
Yeah, that's why I guess giving him one.
All right. Do I need to make any checks or anything?
I'm just going to give it to you free that you just have this awareness up and running.
Okie dokie.
It's basically the equivalent of D&D passive perception, It's one of those things where it's a secret number that I have in my GM mind, and I will color descriptions appropriately.
And I look to Rochelle. It's like, Rochelle, do you want to use a tractor beam again? We're going to offer these sages a treat.
Aye, Commander.
Find the biggest, tastiest looking treat you could find.
All right. So, Rochelle, I'd like you to roll me a... We'll call this an insight plus science, because you're trying to discern a pattern or a differentiation between these bioluminescent orbs. I'm going to make the difficulty here a 2 because they are kind of unknown. And this would be a scene change, so you also would be at 5 momentum, not 6. And I'll say the ship will assist on this, obviously. The only reason I'm not having you do like a normal sensor scan is because I feel like insight is more applicable. But if you have a good argument for reason, I'm game to hear it.
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah. I, however, will be spending some momentum to add a die to the pool, because, yeah.
Okay.
For the ship, what roll would it be?
The ship roll would be sensors plus science.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure I don't have an applicable focus either, so...
And ships always have a focus?
Ships always have a focus.
Alright, so there's 2 success.
Alright. Oh, we're going to take the first one.
I'm going to let the ship re-roll, seeing as that is... Oh. Apparently the ship rolled twice. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. We're just going to keep that not complication.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So, Rochelle, you're looking at scans of these orbs, and you're able to tell that there's a very slight phase discrimination between them. To put it in terms that might be easier to understand, imagine a bag of Skittles. Each Skittle, of course, has its own color and flavor, and though you might not know the favorite of these aliens that are approaching you, the biggest and probably quote-unquote juiciest one you're able to find is of a light red, almost a pink color.
And that's a good Skittle. I mean, nobody's going to argue with that.
Look back and Skittle? That one, though?
Yeah, I will maneuver that particular item over to the approaching stages, the Jimmies, as graciously as possible to do with the tractor beam. Like, yeah, okay. I don't know.
Let's see. All right, so the Kalaki, I think, is probably the easiest way to say their name, or Jimmy's.
Jimmy's pretty easy. Question for you about the Kalaki.
Yes.
So the Opterans naturally communicate with by emitting radiation, right? Did the Kalaki have similar patches on their form for that? Or?
I was actually just about to describe and show you a handout.
Hey, cool.
So as the creatures get closer, you see that they are shaped like these great serpents with 2 frontal arms that sport fins, and they also have these 4 thick tentacle type appendages that end sort of like a squid, so that they've kind of got those suction cup type things at the end of the tentacle. And all along their length are these stripes, spots, and other such patterns of bioluminescent lights. And these lights produce an effect around these creatures that look very similar to that of the Earth's aurora borealis. And I will show you. Here's the handout. Here is the handout. This is something very close to what I had in mind for them.
Oh, that was completely off. That's very cool, though.
But to answer your other question, how they communicate. So as they get within range to see your pink Skittle, they, of course, come to a stop, and they begin what at first sounds like a whale singing. And surprisingly, the universal translator is indeed able to decipher this quote-unquote speech. And Rochelle, since you are our ranking science officer, you're able to tell that they are indeed using a similar transmission method, so using tetrions to communicate. The big difference here, though, is that the Kalaki are... like, the universal translator doesn't necessarily get inflections good sometimes. Or, well, because proper grammar's fun. the big difference between, like, say, Jeffrey's speech and these Kalaki's speech is that the Kalaki are slower and a more musical type voice, which I'm not even going to attempt as a GM, but to, theater of the mind kind of a thing. And the creatures say, "Hello, newcomers. Is this for us?"
Is Rochelle able to... I'm assuming we would have rigged the ship before the mission so we could use it to communicate with any Opterons that did not have a comm badge attached to their face?
Yes, I would say you would have configured the Roddenberry to have an appropriately configured and modulated Tetrion emitter.
Yeah. So Rochelle will, if possible, quickly adapt that to the Kalaki speech.
Okay.
And then reply, "Yes, absolutely. This is for you."
Oh, well, thank you.
Do you want me to roll for any of that, or?
Nah, they're nice creatures.
No, I was talking about modifying the communications.
Oh, no, it's a trivial enough task.
Sounds good.
So yeah, they begin eating, and one of them says, "You are new to this space, yes?"
Yes, we are. Yes. How would we describe it? We are from a parallel realm that touches this one. We've recently met the Opterons that live here, and we're invited to explore your space. We are from an organization in our realm called the United Federation of Planets, and we are scientists and explorers. Our mandate is to seek out new life and new civilizations and expand our knowledge. And your realm is fascinating.
Well, how should I say this? There's a slight pause, and they kind of sing back, and they say, "You are not the first creatures to visit from the other side. Though I have personally been within this realm all of my life, I have encountered 3 such extra-dimensional creatures such as yourself. And the one that you assume is the one talking kind of swims closer, so that it can almost not like quite put its eye up against the glass or the transparent aluminum at the front of the ship, but it does get close enough so that it can see inside the Roddenberry. And it says, "My, you are small creatures."
Sure, we'll offer an awkward little wave.
Yeah, Crowley waves too.
Well, I'm sure if the Opterans invited you, then you already know that as long as you pick up your probes and debris, I don't think anyone here will mind if you stayed and explored a little bit.
We will endeavor to leave your realm in the same condition in which we found it, barring except for perhaps an exchange of ideas and knowledge.
There's a sound of almost like a laugh, and after a moment, the creature again says, "Well, there are many interesting sights here that might, of course, interest you, but there might be one in particular that would be of interest to you now that I've gotten a better look at you."
Please do tell. Side note,
yes.
Rochelle is definitely recording all this specific conversation to give to the captain because he's not here for this first contact, and Rochelle knows how much the captain likes first contact. So,
Okay.
I just want to make new friends.
So the Kalaki says, there is another tear similar to that one, and it uses one of its tentacles to point back at the tear you came through. There's another tear about a day's travel from here that has a floating metal ship bigger than yours floating outside of it. It had holes in it and seemed to be damaged in some way, and My mate and I, we tried communicating with it, but we did not receive a reply.
Oh. Well, part of our job is to help. So,
How long has it been in your realm?
Since they arrived,
Yes.
about 3 days, or at least we passed by them 3 days ago.
That's pretty close to the time limit as we understand it. Michelle will look to the commander. Sir, what do you think we should do?
I think we should go help. Or at least investigate.
Okay, and Michelle will communicate their intentions to the Clocky.
Okay. So the Kalaki finish up their skittle, and they one of them kind of looks at the other, flashes a pattern of light and tetrions that doesn't quite translate, and then one of them swims off, and the one that's been talking to you says, "I would be happy to show you there myself. However, I feel it might be prudent for me to mention that all is not peaceful here, or at least not entirely. There are beings which we call the Fef, and I'll spell that in chat. Should be that. There are beings known as the Fef which don't inhabit this realm, but they make a habit of using our manifold to transverse through space. And they are a very highly aggressive species. I don't really know how to tell you to look out for them with your metal ship, but if you see anything big, black, and red, that's more than likely them."
We'll keep it in mind. Thank you for the warning.
Of course. If you'll follow me, and he makes to start moving in another direction.
I'll set course to follow, and I'll turn to look to her show. You'd make a good diplomat.
Well, I've been studying, sir.
Good to hear. Ensign Los,
Yes.
keep an eye out for the description that we were given for the Fef.
Aye, sir.
Medic, just in case if we do encounter a Fef. Weapons, operational.
As far as I could tell, they are.
Alright. And I guess let's look at preparing EVA suits. Ordy,
Yes.
if you can do a once-over on EVA suits, make sure that they're all equipped and ready to be submerged in the outside atmosphere. We may have to do excursions.
Aye, sir. Right away.
And I'll set course to follow.
Okay.
Woo.
So, I'm going to do a slight retcon, and I'll say that since the Kalaki is taking you there directly, the travel time is not going to be a full day. It will only be a few hours. So is there anything besides what we just went over that people want to accomplish in those, we'll say 3 hours?
Delix will run a secondary scan of, I believe, what Crowley told him earlier about like medical scans or something like that of the crew on the ship. See how they're all, see how they're all doing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, how's my... Yeah, I'll message you.
I think it's, and I could be wrong here, I think the task would be similar to a sensor roll, and that would be a reason plus medicine.
Okay. Didn't we use reason? I think you said earlier it could be reason or science or reason or medicine, but if we're gonna...
I'll allow either. How about we just
Okay.
do both?
Okay. So do reason plus science, and I believe the difficulty was 2, or was it just?
Yeah, the difficulty here will be, yeah, I'll make it a 2.
Okay. No applicable focus.
Okay. I'm gonna let the ship assist on this.
Okay.
Sensors plus medicine for the ship.
Sensors plus medicine. Alright. Applicable focus.
Hey, the Roddenberry finally helped on something.
Yeah!
So, good news. Everyone's fine.
Okay.
Even Crowley's artificial lung is perfectly okay.
Okay, good. Good. Everything seems to be checking out, Commander.
Excellent.
All right. So, I will push you onto this map in 1 second. I just got to move a few things around. Okay, yeah, I can put you on this map. All right, so to describe what you're seeing on the screen, give me 1 moment to adjust the Twitch stream. There we go. Okay, so as you approach, you again see out of the front viewport that there is another tear in subspace that presumably leads back to real space. The big difference, though, is that this one seems highly unstable. It's not a quote-unquote permanent tear like the one that leads back to Zoatis Prime. Probably because of that, or maybe in spite of, you're not really sure. This tear is much larger than the one you entered through. The swirling prismatic energy swirl could maybe accommodate something like a Defiant class or another small vessel. And sure enough, there does happen to be one such ship drifting nearby. And the Roddenberry sensors are able to cross-reference with the computer database. And the Roddenberry returns that this particular ship is a Saber class, and it is designated the USS Denmark. And for those uninitiated with the Saber class, it's about the size of an NX class. It has a crew complement of about 40. And with that said, you're only detecting about 7 life signs. And the reason for that might be pretty obvious as you scan the hull of this ship. There are these massive charred holes in the hull, and the port nacelle is leaking plasma into the surrounding space.
Shoot.
Scanning them, am I able to determine what might have charred the hull? Like if it's phaser fire or disruptors or...
I would say
other phenomena?
that would definitely have to be a roll.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do reason plus science, because that's standard sensor roll. Again, the ship can assist with sensors. I'm going to say sensors plus security for the ship. And I'm going to make the difficulty here a 4 with some threat.
Jeez.
Alright, so at my last count, we had 5 momentum.
I've got 4.
Okay.
So unless I missed something.
I might have forgotten a scene change.
There was a scene change, and then I spent some on my last roll,
Okay.
or one of my last rolls, so I'm pretty sure we're at 4. But I am down to spend 1 more here. Or,
Oh, yeah. GM, are we allowed to know how much threat you just used to increase the difficulty?
I just used 2.
Okay.
oof.
Okay.
I should be able to re-roll at least one of those with one of my talents.
Yeah, but the question is can you get the 3 successes? Because it is a difficulty 4 task.
Yeah. Has the ship rolled?
Yeah, the ship did squad.
Yeah,
Ship did squad.
ship
All right.
didn't have
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to get 3 successes off 1 roll. So.
Okay. I'll tell you this much.
Well, you could use
Oh, go ahead.
determination to reroll all
Ooh.
dice.
I could absolutely do that. Yeah. Yeah, I should do that.
Also, since we usually don't worry about this, but I believe the XO or the commanding officer, I think both of them have it. You can spend up to 3 momentum to give someone their determination back. That is something you can do. But let me double check that because I'm like 90% sure that that's correct. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the XO can do that. I don't know about the captain.
yeah, where
I think
is
mine's slightly different.
Yeah, I will proc my always prepared, always vigilant value and reroll those.
All right.
All right. And then, yeah, I'll get the ship to reroll as well with using my talent.
All
Okay.
right.
Ooh. Let's see, sensors plus security.
Yeah, the captain's powers, he can give his determination to another player.
Okay.
And still no.
Well,
Still
okay.
I'll still give you partial information, but obviously not if you've got a full 4. You're able to tell that this was something very similar to overcharged disruptor fire, if that makes sense. So imagine something like a Klingon bird of prey diverted almost all of its power to its disruptor cannons, and then just mercilessly burned holes into this ship. But the holes are clean through the decks. Like, you can see from the top of the saucer section all the way through to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I want to maneuver the Roddenberry just underneath it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's drifting downwards.
It's just kind of hovering there in space.
All right. Is there a airlock at any point on this ship?
There is indeed. There is an airlock in the back of the ship. Or do you mean on the Denmark?
The Denmark.
They do have an airlock, but you are able to tell. I'll give this to you for free. The airlock is currently on the other side of a big breach, so you could dock with it, but you're not going to get very far.
Let's try to raise them. Let's hail them.
Okay.
Commander Crowley of the USS Roddenberry. Come in, please. Anyone aboard?
So there's a large amount of static, and then you do get an audio-only reply, and it's a woman's voice, and she says, "Roddenberry, come in. We hear you. We're dead in the water here. We don't have any external sensors or really anything besides bare life support. We're glad that someone from the Federation is here."
Roger that. We will work on evacuation processes.
Matic will kind of like hit the mute button, and I'll just say, Crowley, do you feel like she's telling the truth?
It's a Federation ship. We have to help first.
Yeah, but I've seen plenty of Federation ships that got taken over by hostile species. It's just audio. We can't visibly see that this person's actually Federation.
Well, I'll beam over. This ship is damaged and sinking. We don't know how much damage it can take anymore. If it breaches at any time.
Commander, we, if possible, in addition to saving its crew, I would like to prioritize saving the Denmark itself as well. There's no reason to let a good ship go to waste.
True. Matic, I'll actually look to Rasho and Dalek's like, can either of you pilot our ship? Good.
I can't, sir.
To be clear, that was Los giving a suggestion, not the captain.
Yeah, no, I know.
Cool.
I obviously had some training piloting at the academy, sir, but I would not consider myself on your level or Mondays.
As long as you can keep the ship floating here, Los, Matic, and I will go over and assess what's happening and attempt to save the vessel.
Okay.
Even if we're not able to save the vessel, we should attempt to stop that plasma leak before it pollutes the local area anymore.
That is a priority as well, yes.
Commander, it's possible they may need medical assistance. I am trained.
Yep, that's why you're underway mission with us.
Okay.
All right.
All
So let me just get some tokens dragged over. So Crowley's going, Maddox going, Los is going. Anyone else?
I think it was just the three of us.
Okay.
GM, do I need to spend momentum for the medkit?
I believe technically you're supposed to. I think it's an opportunity cost 1 off the top of my head.
Yeah, it is. I wrote it down on Los's character sheet. Because
Okay.
I knew that's something he would want to bring.
Yeah, I'll say if you just want to spend the 1 momentum, you can have the med kit.
Alright, I'll do that.
Okay.
So that puts us at 2.
Yes. Yes, it puts
Okay.
you at 2.
Since we are closer now, I'm going to look through our shows. Like, are all the life signs gathered together, or are they spread out?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm able to determine that and maybe make a map of the safe areas of the ship.
Yes, they are actually currently gathered in main engineering. And it seems really that the engineering department is the only section, or the deck that it's on is the only section of the ship that isn't leaking atmo or plasma.
Okay. And with the scans, am I able to determine if, like, the ship is completely scuttled, or do we even have, like, a glimpse of a hope of maybe salvaging it?
I'd say that would be a call Matic would have to make.
Okay.
And I say that simply because I recently rewatched Enterprise, the series, and as terrible as parts of it were, the NX-01 took a lot of beating before it was dead in the water. So I'm of the mind that it's kind of a risk versus reward call you'll have to make.
As someone who likes to poke around with like ships underwater, the fact that it's still kind of buoyant is good. Because making watertight is a lot harder to do than airtight.
Let's see what happens. Tell you what, I'm actually looking at the time, so why don't we take a break here, and then we'll come back and we'll do another hour of RP and maybe get through the rest of this. So 5-minute break. 5-minute break.
All right.
All right. BRB.
And I'm back. I just took like 5 steps to my kitchen, grabbed a bottle of pop, and came back.
There you go. Now, here's a question I have now that we're on break. The Roddenberry had a transporter on it, right?
Mhm.
Now, if we wanted to maybe lock onto them from the ship, would they have to have a comm badge signal for us to be able to even transport them over?
I think we might get a difficulty with that because of the plasma leak.
No, yeah, that's true.
I don't want to merge anyone into a new bean.
Oh no, what I was thinking, like, with Maddox saying that maybe a hostile species took over the ship, maybe if they don't have comm badges on, we might be able to make some kind of assumption, but who knows?
I'm thinking we're gonna beam not in engineering but adjacent to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think we can get like a 3D representation of where everyone's at clearly. Because if we could, then I would say beam us all on the higher points in engineering. Because you know how the Galaxy class, for example, had
Yeah.
the second level. Yeah, we'd be up there with weapons drawn.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
I caught the tail end of that conversation. So you're talking about levels of engineering?
Yeah, like how typically engineerings have two levels.
Well, I mean, we've got time. Let me look at the MSD.
I don't think we have a 3D representation or of how everyone's spaced out.
Let's take a
And I don't
look.
think beaming them right in from the ship. I'm as a character, I'm more concerned about something bad happening, rupturing, and everyone dying.
Right,
I know
right.
there's the risk of a potential hostile party, but you know, I'm thinking it's Starfleet because they would have used the escape pods if the ship was done.
Yeah. All right, that's what one MSD says. What does this MSD say? I'm going to use this MSD instead. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be deck 4. Yeah. I'll tell you when we come back from break, because it may affect your decision. Let's see, how big is this PNG? Yeah, I'll share it in Discord. Deck plans, Saber class.
Does it cost us anything to take transport enhancers?
I think it does, but I'm just gonna give it to you free because they're transporting enhancers.
Yeah, we'll take a unit of them.
The other ship will probably just have them, right? But I guess there's no reason we wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you would have them on hand simply because of the special nature of the Roddenberry, but is everyone back?
Think so. Wait.
Back.
Have we heard from Matic yet?
Don't think we've heard from Matic.
I'm here,
So-
so
Oh, okay.
We guys
Okay,
talk
cool.
about pattern enhancers?
They were discussing maybe bringing the pattern enhancers along. Anyway,
Okay, there's an opportunity cost for that we've been ignoring previously. Eh?
yeah, I think I'm just gonna make a house rule that transport enhancers you can just take because there's more than enough opportunities in TNG where all they have to do is bring one along and it fixes so many problems. So I'm just gonna give that to you free. Anyway, so unfortunately, stream I wasn't able to get the MSD which I just shared with my players. But if you guys look on the picture in Discord, everything from the aft of the turbo lift, the front turbo lift, everything past that is still habitable, but everything to the fore is without power and is otherwise open to space.
Alright, so we have access to computer core, computer launcher, sensor array. Imperium. Okay.
But they don't have
So-
their shuttle bay and bridge.
Right.
Okay.
Anyone knows the Easter egg?
Yeah, the moonshine still.
Their flux capacitor right next to the warp core.
Yeah, that too.
Now I gotta look for the still.
Yeah, this guy does like really good LCARs, but he always puts in little things like the moonshine and whatnot.
Hey, I mean, that's how we ended up with Beckett doing his thing on the Ophion in the dock. So, I love this guy's stuff. It's good stuff. Anyways, where would so the await or not the await team, the life signs of the 7 individuals left on the Denmark are all in main engineering. So where would you like to beam in?
It looks like there is 2 levels to main engineering.
Yeah.
So, I want to beam on the upper level.
Okay. And since I didn't mention this quite yet, none of the escape pods have been launched. So whatever this attack was, either it was so sudden that they didn't have time to get there, or it just wasn't something they could do. Of course, you
Maybe
can.
they realize the saber class is too ugly to live and decide to scuttle it.
Poor saber
I mean,
class.
we were all thinking it.
I like the saber class.
Poor saber. Anyway, so you three are going to beam to the upper level of engineering. I don't quite have a map for this that doesn't overlap with what we use, so I'm just going to put you in the red alert corridor.
Sure.
Which is now gone with Orion's because that was like several games ago. Anyway, as you beam in, you see that there is the collection of 7 individuals waiting there for you. And they look standard Starfleet. They're all wearing what look to be engineer yellow, including the ranking officer, who is immediately identifiable as a woman lieutenant. And based on the fact she's the only woman present, you're guessing this is who you just talked to on the comms.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Silvera, thank you for coming.
No problem. We have transport enhancers with us to make sure everyone gets aboard the Roddenberry fine. But first, what all happened?
Well, sir, we were, doing a routine patrol of the Organa system, and all of a sudden we were rocked by a bit of turbulence, and before we knew it, we were pulled into a subspace rift. And the process, well, she kind of motions around at main engineering, and you can see that even though the warp core is still active, that there is some significant conduit damage throughout even main engineering. And she says the process of transitioning space blew out half the EPS conduits on the ship, and it damaged the port nacelle. But we didn't suffer any casualties until, well, they attacked.
They?
Well, we don't have any visual records of them. Unfortunately, the computer core was damaged somewhat. About 3 hours after we entered this subspace manifold, an alien vessel of unknown configuration began to approach us, and obviously the captain and the XO and the rest of the command staff did their best to make first contact and keep things civil, but without warning, the alien vessel just began firing on us, and she visibly shudders. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. We were helpless, and we suffered, I'm sure you can tell, we suffered massive damage and casualties. Only the 7 of us, and she motions at the rest of the crew, were the only ones to survive. Somehow we managed to scare them off with a manually launched torpedo, the attackers, but honestly, I think they could return at any moment.
Probably choose the Roddenberry.
Okay. I think Richaud is the ranking officer, so it would be Richaud's job to respond.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of pizza. What am I responding to?
Crowley to Richaud.
Oh. Yes, Commander.
I want you to reduce power on the Roddenberry. Try to mask our signature as much as possible, and keep an eye on sensors.
Understood, Commander.
A little paranoid. We're going to send some injured over, though.
I have a question. The system she said they were exploring, is that anywhere near Shackleton Expanse?
So you would know this. The Organia system, or Organa system, I always forget which way it is. It's cross-quadrant. Like, let me find it on the map again.
Wait, are those the Organians that like made the forced peace treaty between us and the Klingons?
Similar to that, yes. If you pull up the big old Starfleet map, The Organia system is near the Batrika Nebula to the southeast of it. And you guys, for reference, are all the way to the east, where Narendra Station. Well, you're into the Expanse, but you're
Okay.
more or less around the northeast edge of the map. So it's a fair bit of distance.
Right. Yeah, I do want to start getting medical scans of the crew.
Okay. I believe this would be a reason plus medicine.
Okay. Ooh.
All
All right. I'll do my best.
I'll say it can't hurt. I'm gonna make the
my-
difficulty a 2.
Okay. My reason's fine, but my medicine's pretty bad. It's pretty good.
Stick the tricorder inside his wound.
It'll fit. Okay.
You make it fit.
Do you guys mind if I use a threat to buy a die? I know we have 2 momentum, but I kind of want to use threat.
I'm okay with it.
All right. I'm just buying 1 die.
Okay.
After he does his thing, I have one thing.
Oh, sure.
I just nod to the warp cartomatic for him to start looking at doing repairs.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, as soon as we learned that it was Starfleet, Matic started scanning and checking everything.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question.
go ahead.
Would my emergency medicine apply for this check?
I would say it would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's handle your roll, then we'll do Maddox. Okay.
Only 1.
I'll give you the option. This can succeed at cost, but I will take some threat for it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I don't know if but that's just me.
Los is playing it dangerous. I'm fine with it.
All right.
All right. So here's what I'll say, Los. You're able to tell that one individual in particular, a Denobulan, he has probably the most severe injury. He's got 3rd-degree burns all along his right side, probably because he was right next to a conduit when it blew out. He is quote-unquote stable. Like, he's not in any danger of, say, passing out or, keeling over dead, but he is borderline in shock at the moment. Obviously,
Okay.
the sooner he gets treatment, the better.
I'm curious, what is the best place to treat him? Is it like right here wherever he is, or on the Denmark or on the Roddenberry?
I'm going to let you make that judgment call.
Does the Denmark still have its med bay?
It does, but if you were to ask where it is and if you could take a turbolift there, Lieutenant Silveira will tell you that the turbolifts are non-functional at the moment.
Okay, and I imagine your computer's down too, so...
Correct.
I think I'd like to treat him aboard the Roddenberry.
All right. They're not going to get in your way. So, do you want to beam just with him, or do you want to take others as well?
Does anyone else need medical aid other than the Denobulan?
I mean, there's bumps, scratches, bruises, burns, but nothing as serious as the Denobulan.
I'll briefly treat those like the burns while I'm here, and then I'll go over with the Denobulan because I assume the rest of the way party might need some help from the crew to get this place up and running or whatever they're up to.
Okay, so Loesch, you beam back over to the Roddenberry, leaving Crowley and Maddock. So Maddock, I would like you to roll me. How do you feel about an insight plus engineering?
What's the difficulty?
I would make the difficulty here a 3.
Would my talent apply to this?
I don't think it's your ship, so no.
But I mean, they'd all be kind of similar, wouldn't they?
Nah.
A warp core is a warp core at the end of the day, right?
I don't think I can give it to you, unfortunately.
All right. You said difficulty 3?
Difficulty 3, yeah.
You can use the momentum. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll use the momentum. I'm not trying to play it wild and loose. Power systems, warp field dynamics. Yeah, that's the only 2 focuses I have that I think would apply.
Power systems would be best here.
All right. Come on, dice gods. Hey, there we go.
Hey, our Jesus doth giveth. So you get a momentum. Nice. So here is almost verbatim from my notes what I have on this. Matic, you're pretty sure that if you had the materials, engineering staff, and the time, you can get the Denmark up and running again, no problem. That said, you don't have any of that, really. I mean, sure, you have what remains of the engineering staff with you, but you don't have the materials. You don't have the time. And to kind of expand on the time aspect is that you're already, with your tricorder readings, you're already detecting that the subspace manifold is beginning to try to crush the hull. The Denmark can maybe survive another day in here, but past that, it's just going to be crushed by the manifold.
Is there a way that do I have the ability to get impulse thrusters up at least?
I'm going to give you this question free, but any future will be, you'll have to spend some momentum.
Right.
You could conceivably get impulse running, but the control circuits are down. So you could basically get it going in a direction, but you don't have a steering wheel, to put it bluntly.
Okay. Let me go and spend the momentum I just got for the thing.
Okay.
Is the Roddenberry's tractor beam enough to be that said steering wheel, or would I even need to worry about impulse power and be able to just use the Roddenberry to kind of push the ship through the subspace tear?
I would say that, because I have to answer this truthfully, so I got to figure out how to say this. You could push them back through the subspace tear they came through. However, you would know that help would likely not be coming to them for a while. I suppose the other option is trying to take it back to the tear you guys came through, but then you'd have the Denmark below the surface of the Zoatis Prime planet, which would pretty much keep it there forever.
But you also said this tear was unstable earlier, so does that? So I mean, would you be able to answer if whether or not we could if like Matic to Rochelle?
Go ahead.
Can you get a scan of that subspace tear to see how much longer it's going to last?
I can certainly try.
All right. Give me a reason plus science. And again, the Roddenberry will assist with sensors plus science. And the difficulty here, I'm going to spend some threat. I'm going to make it a 3. Hey, so what is the ship roll?
Sorry, what was the ship's roll?
Sensors plus science.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason my computer Discord wouldn't cooperate with me, but I managed to get the phone app to work, so...
Hey, small blessings.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys get a momentum. Nice.
The ship did a thing.
Yay! All right, so Rochelle, you're able to tell that the rift will probably last somewhere on the order between another 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And for my question that I get when I successfully do a sensor scan, am I able to determine if there's anything we can do to prolong that if necessary? Like, can I shoot some beams at it, some tachyons or something?
I'm going to say the Roddenberry doesn't have a big enough deflector dish to do what you would have to do. The Denmark does, but the deflector bay is, or the deflector is at the front of the ship and thus without power.
Yeah.
Idea. Could we give the deflector dish on the Denmark power from the Roddenberry?
It's a good question. I'm gonna rule probably no because of how ingrained deflectors usually are.
Well, there was the episode where the Enterprise was stuck in that time loop.
Right, that's what I was thinking as well.
So we're just shooting a beam into it to charge it up, and then... But if we have... Is the computer core still intact?
No,
It
the
doesn't have a
computer core is
connection?
damaged.
Well, I know the Sovereign class deflector is like modular. Like it comes off if you need to get rid of 3 Borg drones.
One of them was a security officer.
Yeah, things happen.
Here's what I'll do. I'm going to let you guys roll for it. So I want one of you, whoever wants to have the onus of success or failure, I want you to roll me a 1d100. And obviously, if you're below a certain number, it can happen.
Blame Los. Blame Los.
Hey, Los
Crowley's
has a
going to take it.
Yeah, I've not been rolling well today.
I've been doing all right.
So is Los going to do it, or shall the commander take the responsibility?
Yeah, this is your reputation on the line, Commander.
I'll roll for it.
Survey says no. No.
Oh,
I have a low number. Dang. It'd be good in 40.
Yeah.
Alright. While Maddox is doing that, and Los is being back with the injured crewman, I'm going to look to the lieutenant, and so there's no more senior staff aboard. There's no command staff left aboard the ship, is what you're telling me.
That is correct, sir. I am the ranking officer on the ship at the moment.
I'm going to assume command, just so you can focus on your responsibilities in the engine core right now and help with Maddox.
Of course, sir. And Silveria kind of goes over to Maddox to do whatever Maddox feels is appropriate.
I will go and attempt, so... let's see. For the design here, the computer core is still accessible. It looks like, right? Is that the computer core? That big thing in the middle?
Yeah, the big yellow thing?
Yeah. Okay, that's before the flooding. The deflector dish is kind of partially flooded then?
Yeah. I don't know, you'd have to go there to double check, but yeah, the main part of the deflector, like the emitter arrays, are not currently operable.
I just realized there's the Wayland Yutani symbol right above the deflector dish.
Yeah, another Easter egg.
Yeah, I came prepared thinking we would be beaming into like half water or submerged areas, so like I am in my EVA. I had Ordy get those ready. So I'm going to go and check in on the computer core and see what the damage is like.
Okay. While that happens, do you have any specific orders for Maddox or Richaud or really anyone on the away team or the crew Any areas in particular they should focus on first?
For the Roddenberry, to keep scanning for any vessels or anything that may be a threat to us. And for Matic to try and plug up that plasma leak.
Okay.
And I'll take a couple of, I guess, the yellow shirts, the ones that are able to, with me. Just so they're close by enough that if it's clear, I can get them to come in. If it's not clear, I can send them back. But just in case I need help with the computer core.
Okay.
If we were to use the tractor beam to push the Denmark out, how
Mhm.
long would that take?
If you wanted to do it quote unquote safely, that would take maybe 5-10 minutes. If you just wanted to get it through the tear as fast as possible, you could do it under a minute, no problem.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of pull Crowley off to the side and tell him, like, impulse. The most I could do is give it impulse. There's really no way of saving this ship. Even if we get it back through the tear, where they are. It's gonna be weeks before they get help. The most we can do is take the surviving crew, take them back to us to the Arcadia, and send the Denmark back through this tear before this half hour's up. That way it could get scuttled. Like, we can leave a log, and we can leave reports, and we can leave something showing who survived, but I mean, this ship's done for.
We have half an hour.
We have half an hour. That's putting it generously, too.
Actually, I'm going to do a very quick thing, like mid-sentence here. So back on the ship, back on the Roddenberry, Loesch, you're busy still dealing with the Denobulin, but Rochelle, you're detecting a ship headed in your direction. Still a ways off, but there is something coming towards you.
Is it red and black by chance?
It is indeed.
Commander, we might have a situation about to arise.
What is it?
Remember the hostile aliens that the Jimmy warned us about?
Oh, this is bad
Yeah.
news, isn't it?
It is. It's not good news.
All right. We will start beaming as many as we can overboard.
Overboard.
Yes, into the subspace.
Yeah.
Into the sea.
Into the sea you go.
If I were to set the warp core to explode, would that affect subspace?
Probably, yeah. An antimatter explosion does tend to do that.
Would we get in trouble?
I don't know. You'd have to give the Opterans and the Kalaki a good argument. I don't think they're gonna like give you shit for it, but it's one of those things like, how conservationist do you want to be? I will give you this idea though. You could easily push it through the rift and have it explode on the other side.
Well, no, I was gonna set it to explode whenever the Fef got closer to kind of use it as like a distract them and like possibly damage their ship a little bit while we get away.
Ah, solid plan. I'd allow it.
Is this something you're talking to Crowley about?
Yeah.
I'd say push it to the rift and let's get out of here. We told the inhabitants of this space that we would not leave anything behind.
Right.
Warp core detonation would make a lot of debris. It could have adverse effects on their ecological system.
Right. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna go and look at everyone. what's left of the crew of the what's the ship? Denmark? Yeah, Denmark. I was gonna call it Donager, and then all of a sudden flashbacks. Of Denmark, we're gonna beam them all over. This is gonna it's gonna push us. It's gonna be a tight squeeze for everyone.
Indeed. Yeah, you're going to be pretty much in cramped quarters for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have the room, but no seats after 10. So they can enjoy the floor.
Yeah. Okay. With that all going on, I'm going to put you guys back onto this map. And let me just adjust. So the distances isn't like correct. I probably should have made this map bigger or shrunk the tokens down. But as everyone's beaming back over, Richaud in particular, since you're in command, you see that ship approaching you.
Oh.
Hi,
That
friend.
doesn't look good.
Now, when we design this ship, we should make it angry.
we look, in their culture, that is a very, very friendly-looking ship.
Okay.
This is actually the surrender
smiling.
vessel. That's the surrender vessel. Those are the peace piercers.
They pierce to the heart of the truth.
Yeah, and when they don't shoot laser beams, it's actually a surrender document they fire at you.
But needless... Go ahead.
I was just going to reference Futurama. Kif, fly the white flag of war.
So to give you guys a sense of scale here, because I don't think I did it quite right. So the Roddenberry...
That's half the size of the Roddenberry, right?
Yeah. So the Denmark is supposed to be scale 3, and the Fifth ship is scale 4. So it's as big as an Intrepid class.
We can take it.
I think we can. We have
That's
good stats
close. That's bigger than the Arcadia.
Mm-hmm. Arcadia is only a scale 3.
We have good resistance. We have a resistance of 5.
Here's what I'm going to do, though. Is I'm going to just quickly throw some tokens on here so we know who's the turn order. Let's see. And then I'll give you that. 3. There's 5 of you. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. Obviously, we're going to do some rather quick ship combat because I do want to end on time. But we are going to start going in initiative order. So we'll assume that everybody from the Denmark is now aboard the Roddenberry. The ship has been evacuated. And it's, if I understand what Crowley said, I think your first task is going to be to get it into the tear. But then after that, you can just run if you so wished.
Yep. Okay.
Am I still performing surgery?
I think you've wrapped it up at this point. You have gotten him out of the danger zone.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna start with you guys. Who would like to go first, player-wise?
Matic will.
Okay.
He will boost auxiliary power to the. I don't know if I want to do it to the engines or if I want to do it to the tractor beam to try to push it through quick. I'll do it to the tractor beam to push the Denmark through a little quicker.
Okay. I don't think there's a specific task for this, but I'll say that since you did this, the tractor beam task in the future will be at a reduced difficulty.
All right.
So that's you guys. Next
Well,
up...
it's the first round of combat, and my talent would kick in, so we
Right.
do a second action.
You do have quick to action. All right, so who's next?
I can scan for weaknesses.
Okay. I think you already know, but that's going to be a control plus science, difficulty 1. And the ship will assist with sensors plus security.
Alright. Sensors.
Okay. That sucks.
Yeah, so you're scanning the ship, and yeah, even though the ship succeeded, since you didn't get any initial successes.
Oh, I can reroll with my talent.
Okay,
So I will reroll 1 die.
all right. Has to be a success, or the Roddenberry can't help you.
Yep.
All right, that's a
Yeah.
success. All right, so you guys do get a momentum, actually. And you are able to determine that the underside of the vessel, probably about here where this spike is, underneath there is a very good spot to shoot it. At least the metallurgy of the surrounding area seems to be of a weaker composition. But basically, the next attack gets piercing 2. And if you buy any d20 for that task, it's another challenge die. But it is the Feth ship's turn. So the Feth ship does get...
Question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have quick action as well. Can I use mine now?
No, you definitely cannot double up on quick to action.
Okay. How would we go about keeping our turn?
You would have to
we-
spend momentum.
But you can't do that. The max is 2.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the only way to get another action would be is if Richaud was to do another action at this point.
Yeah, I think maybe with determination. But
Yeah, I feel like determination, since it's such a big deal, it would let you do it. But I think, as Shield of Tomorrow found out, you only can do 2 at a time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that is
next round, though, quick to action doesn't work then, because it's no
Correct.
longer the...
right.
But yeah. So the Feth's up. And the Feth are going to get closer. And they will fire across... they'll fire at the Denmark. So what's the Denmark get? All right, so you guys see that at the tips of the front-facing spike claw things, you see that they begin to glow with this ominous, evil-looking red light, and out emitting from these claw protrusions are these absolutely massive disruptor beams. It's worth noting that they are probably about the size of the spikes themselves in width. So they are big beams. And I now get to roll some challenge die.
Oh no.
I assume that Denmark has no shield.
Oh no, the Denmark has nothing.
Okay.
So, in a overwhelming display of force, holy shit,
Oh no.
the Feth ship not only blows 4 more holes into the Denmark. One of those holes goes straight through the main warp core. And you guys have maybe about 30 seconds, or basically a round and a half, before the Denmark will explode. But it is now your guys' turn again.
Slingshot the Denmark into their ship.
How close is the Denmark gain into the subspace tear?
Well, to bounce off the captain's idea, it's the same distance through the tear as it would be to throw the Denmark into the Feth ship.
Would it be more... Do we have enough time to do that before it explodes, or...
Yes, but you'd have to do it now. Like, literally, whoever goes for the players this turn would have to do it now.
I really don't want to screw up the ecosystem here because we're ambassadors to this area.
But we would be taking out a hostile force who's been screwing up the area as well.
And are contaminating. It's like an oil spill. And we have
It's
no
like
way
an
to clean
oil
it up.
spill, and we're just throwing a little fire on it.
That's worse.
No, it gets rid of the oil.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Yeah, you're in command. But the direct action would make sure we do it, right? Like, we'll get the extra dice.
Yeah, the CO provides a clear, concise order. You choose another officer currently available, and they attempt a single task, and the CO assists with his command.
Alright, yeah, well, let's try and get that Denmark out of here. Let's push it through the subspace there.
Okay. I'm assuming Los would be the best person to roll for this since you are our security personnel.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I'm going to roll. Again, the default task is control plus security, and the ship is going to assist with structure plus security. The base difficulty was going to be a 3 after I spent some threat. However, since Matic transferred some power to the tractor beam, it'll go down to 2.
Okay.
And since Crowley is using his direct action, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that that's advisor? Was that?
No, that is just you as a commanding officer can provide a clear, concise order.
Okay.
So you will assist with presence command,
Mhm.
and you said you have advisor.
Yeah.
That means I can reroll one of my d20s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll do presence command. Just one d20.
Yes, since you are assisting.
All right. Does the ship assist on this?
Structures plus security for the ship.
All right. That puts us at 4 dice. We need 2 successes. It doesn't sound like we need to spend any momentum. Does that sound reasonable?
I would still say suspend momentum regardless, because I
We
mean,
might earn a lot.
well, we might earn a lot, and this kind of seems like an important task, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My,
And since I'm getting the reroll, I can mitigate the complication chance. Alright.
Yeah.
So we should
Alright,
be
I'm
down
good.
to 2 momentum, right?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
Starship Tactical come into play?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. All right, well, that's a green. That's already a good sign. So now we just need to see what the ship rolls.
I'm gonna. No, I'm gonna wait for the ship to see if I even bother with the rerolling the 17.
Ship roll is what again?
Structure plus security.
Structure and security.
Okay. So at the moment, you stand to gain 1 momentum. Do you want to re-roll any of those die?
Wouldn't it be 2?
Oh, yeah, sorry, 2.
Yeah, it's not worth giving a complication for an extra momentum. I don't
Okay.
think.
So, Benson Los, you very deftly and expertly pulse the tractor beam and send the Denmark hurtling towards the subspace tear. And it flies into the tear. And, well, it would help if it was on top. It flies into the tear, and you can see it begin to, like, there's signs of explosions on the exterior of the hull, but before it can really go up in flames, it vanishes into the tear. And seconds later, the tear too destabilizes and vanishes.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Millions of wormhole aliens crowd and die.
Yeah, that's why they told me, hey, you're gonna murder us, but it's cool. We're weird about it. So we get a second action?
I believe you do because it is still the first round of combat.
Right. I haven't gone yet, and has Rochelle gone?
Yes,
He's
I scanned. Yeah.
Oh, the last one left is Delix then.
Don't forget Matic.
Yeah. I thought Matic.
I went first.
Oh yeah, Matic went first. Sorry.
Well, I can shoot, and we didn't get the scan for weakness benefit.
No, unfortunately not.
All right.
Did we not?
I thought we did because you told
Yeah.
us to hit that little spike down there.
Yeah, I re-rolled.
I'm
the
mixing
failure.
up rolls. Yeah, you are correct. My apologies.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm thinking I spend 3 momentum to get 2 extra dice, which gets us 2 extra dice damage as well.
Yeah, buddy.
It would give
And
Pearson
we-
too.
And we are a very powerful little ship.
All right. So I'm spending that. So Los is going to roll 4 dice with control security.
Mm-hmm. And the ship will assist with weapons plus security.
And then security. Alright.
All of the dice.
I see green. That's usually a good sign. All right, so that's what
Hey, the ship.
1, 2,
6
3, 4, 5, 6. I think that puts us back to 5.
Yes, 5 momentum total.
All right.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
go ahead and roll your challenge die for the Roddenberry. I believe the Roddenberry has what, 7?
Oh, also
Yeah.
we're actually maxed out with 1 floating because of versatile.
Ooh.
Oh, what range are we at right now?
I'm
Are we
going
at
to
medium or
say
close?
I'm going to say you're at medium range, so the difficulty would have gone up by 1, so you are
Okay.
at 5.
Oh no, it'll still be 6.
Okay.
Because of versatile. That's fine.
Okay, so if we rolled... Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
we
9
don't have any
challenge
extra?
dice. No, because we would have had 1 floating.
Okay.
And then so that would go away after the adjustment for difficulty.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm rolling 9 challenge dice. That's 2 extra.
Sounds right. Okay.
And we get the piercing 2 as well.
Yep, so piercing 2. All right.
So we're ignoring all 4 resistance of the scale. I'm going to use 1 momentum to reroll 3 dice. The 3 zeros.
The 3 zeros, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that gets us to 10 damage. I can spend 1 more momentum to roll that last die, but at that point I might as well just be to add 1 damage. Or we can just leave it at 10. I think that's a clean 2 breaks, or 2 breaches.
It is. So you do indeed, even at medium range, the Roddenberry fires its phasers, and these blue pulsing lights fly out towards the Feth ship and strike it just where Rochelle indicated would be the best. And there's an immediate reaction of a cascading explosion through the hull. And I'd like... I'm going to let you guys roll for this because I think it's more fun. Whichever one of you wants to roll, I need you to roll me just a straight 1d20, and this will determine what system got hit by this.
I'll do it. Why not?
Okay. So a 5. The engines. All right, hold on. I actually have to look this up because this could make a very big difference. Let's see. Engine damage. No, communication sensors. Did I pass it?
All tasks that involve or are assisted by engines are increased by +2 difficulty, and they lose 1 power at the end of every round. Difficulty to repair this is 3. Also, they have they do need to take the restore minor action before they do anything with engines.
Found it.
But that's
yeah.
for any breach.
Yeah, I found it.
two
Okay. So, yeah, you immediately see that the lights along their hull begin to flicker, and they begin to slightly list in space, but they haven't obviously lost control of their ship. So, yeah, it comes back around to their turn, and they are going to do something which, if I remember the discussion correctly, they can try it, but it's very unlikely. They are going to attempt to fire again, but they are at a very high difficulty roll. So, do I want to spend threat on this? Yeah, let's spend some threat on this. So I'm just gonna roll this macro twice, but we're not gonna take all the die. So this is their first roll. Okay, that's already 4 successes. And I'll roll 1 more d20 for them as well. Okay, so they are actually going to succeed and get 1 shot on the Roddenberry.
Oh, jeez.
But it's good news, bad news type thing. So let's see.
Okay. We got
Okay.
shield.
So here's the
Leaves
good
us
news.
5.
No, it has vicious 1, so it's actually 9. So after resistance, I think that's still what, 7? No, because you have a blade of armor, so that's.
So we have resistance 4, so it goes back down to 5.
Yeah, it goes back down to 5. Okay, so you do suffer a breach, and this time, since it's me who's doing the attacking, I will roll. You also suffer a breach in your engines, though you only lose 2 power, and anything that is assisted by the ship's engines or has a power requirement increases in difficulty and complication range by 1. But
Okay, so we go from...
We are also
7
damaged.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do suffer a breach.
Yeah.
And then
2 more
you,
breaches to our engines, and we are bad.
yeah,
What
and
happened to-
you do also suffer the 5 points of shield damage, so don't forget about that. All right. So, as it comes back up to the Roddenberry's turn, what is your course of action at this point?
Who's still on gun?
Yeah,
Felix
one
happened, but I'm
Yeah,
not
Felix
sure.
still is too.
Not sure what else I could really do.
Well, I mean, technically, you could temporarily take over control of the helm and begin to pilot it elsewhere. That is something you could do.
You could use your minor actions, since those don't typically get used much in Starship combat anyways, to do the repair minor, to get our engines back a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Let's try that.
Okay.
And then you still have your main action after that.
Okay. So for repairing, is that a roll or is it just?
I believe it is. Let me scroll back up.
It's difficulty 3.
Let's
That's
see.
on...
Sorry,
Restore.
what is it we're repairing?
The engines.
Do we just need to... I thought we just had a, not a breach, like not damage, but just an impact?
Yeah,
right?
you just have an impact, so I don't think there is a task performed for this.
Yeah, it's just a minor action to restore.
Well, we're skill 2, right?
Yeah, you're skill 2.
Then 1 breach is damaged.
Yeah, this is a
Right,
fair
did not
point.
think about that.
So, yeah, it's difficulty 3 to get our engines back to functioning.
Okay. Would the roll be like reason and engineering, maybe?
This would be either daring or control plus engineering.
Okay. Do daring for that then.
And we are still at
how
all
many-
6 momentum.
Okay, I'm gonna spend moment. Well, should I spend 1 or like 3 total? So we have 4.
I actually think determination here might be the way to go.
Yeah, determination and momentum. This is like a very important roll to get off.
Like 1 determination, 2 momentum.
Let's see.
Oh, no, wait,
Then
does
I have-
D-Lips have values?
No, I
No,
don't think
this
he
is the
has
first time I've
values
taken
yet.
D-Lex out.
Alright, let's spend 3 momentum.
Okay.
Yeah. Daring, engineering. 3 momentum, so that'll be 4 D20. I'm guessing the ship isn't assisting in any way.
Maddox would have to assist you since it's him doing the repairs, but Maddox is
okay.
already gone.
Alternatively,
Well, what about the 7 engineering people we just picked up?
This is actually a fair point. I will allow you to reduce the difficulty by 1 because you have an extra engineering staff on hand.
Okay.
oh, cool.
Alright. Yeah, we're still doing the 3 momentum, I'm guessing, so...
Would you look at that?
Hey.
Would you look at that? So yeah, Delix, you not quite the commanding officer, but you take charge, and you get the engineering staff from the Denmark working to repair the engines. And sure enough, come the end of your turn, the engines have been restored, but they are still considered damage, if I remember how that works properly.
Yeah. We also get 1 momentum back, right?
I believe so, yes.
Cool. Right.
All right. So for the Feth's ship's turn, when it comes back around to them, what happens is they begin to charge all energy, and this would be something Richaud would see on his sensor readout. They're beginning to pool all energy into their engines, which is counterintuitive since it is their engines that got hit. But that is going to be their turn.
Oh,
I'm registering a massive buildup in energy in the FEF ship's engines, Commander.
Let's leave.
Okay. So we go top of the round again, and here's how I'm going to do this. I want whoever wants to have the responsibility of initiative, because technically it's supposed to be their go again, but I want to give you an opportunity to get out ahead of this. So Like D&D, I'd like one person to roll me a 1d20, and you may add your security score to that.
So let's
Okay, who has the
Four.
best security score?
Mine is 4,
Got a
Mine
4 as
as
well.
well.
Mine is
but Los is cursed today.
mine is a whopping 2. So let's not.
Well, the good news is the higher number here is better. So,
Yeah.
Alright. Well, commanding officer.
all right, a 12. All right, so the magic number I need to beat is a 12. I roll a 19. So here's what's going to happen. The Feth ship will begin to overload its weapons array, and it's going to make one final desperate attack before its engines go critical. Of course, there are some difficulty here in play, so we'll see what happens here.
Can I use momentum or determination at all to hold our initiative till we get away?
I believe that is something you can do with determination.
It is with determination, yeah.
Cool. See, I got a few I can reply. No stranger to violence is one of them.
Okay.
First to take the hit and last to leave.
Okay.
We did take a hit, and we're the other ship. I forgot the name of the ship.
The Denmark?
Denmark. Thank you. It's gone now, so technically we're the last Federation ship, so we can leave. Yeah, those are the two I'd say I'd use.
Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll say that since you spend determination, and this might not be by the book, but screw it, DM Fiat, you are able to not only avoid the final blast from their weapons as it soars harmlessly past you, you are able to more or less punch the engines and basically hurl like a bat out of hell away from the Feth ship as its engines go, well, not nuclear, but basically they explode. There's a very big explosion. It causes ripples through subspace, but you are unharmed by this because of your extra movement speed, because you're a fast little ship.
Yay!
And luckily, there was no wildlife in the area. It was a pretty barren section of the subspace manifold. So nothing really got damaged besides subspace itself. But you did escape. Mostly unharmed. And I think a good way to bookend the session, since we have 4 minutes left, is unless you really wanted to stay within the manifold, we'll end with you guys flying out of the other side of the tear, the original tear, that takes you back to real space. And we can deal with the aftermath either between game or at the beginning of next session. So, go ahead.
The Feth ship, is it completely destroyed?
Oh yeah, it there's nothing left of it.
Not even like a computer core or like any sort of data that we could grab and try to figure out more about them?
Or some giant spikes be mounted on the front of the Roddenberry.
Yeah.
Piercer.
That would be so metal! I love it.
Yeah, but how would you fit it into the shuttle bay?
I don't care.
We'd make holes in the in the walls.
Oh, I'm going to say, for sake of argument, that the Feth ship, when it exploded, did explode pretty damn well. So yeah, maybe you could salvage some hull pieces, but nothing like a computer core would have been salvaged. Good thought, though.
Got 7 new people to discuss things with.
Oh yeah. So yeah, as I said, that's where we're going to end the session. So let me end the stream, and then we'll talk as players and GM afterwards. So stream, thank you for watching as always, and see you next week, hopefully. Bye-bye. Bye.